All right, y'all. So I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 10, episode 2. It starts off with Portia at her house. Her mom is already there, and I believe that was her aunt that was there as well. Her sister Lauren comes with their brother and Lauren's baby, and Lauren is going to stay with Portia. Her and the baby are going to stay with Portia now because Lauren and her baby daddy got some issues going on, I guess. Portia is setting some ground rules or whatever. She's telling them about Cynthia's party and how her and Candy are in an okay space. I'm like, yeah, that's what you think. But, Portia, she also tells about how Nene, pretty much lied in her face and said that, she never said the word fired or whatever, whatever. But we all know what the hell she meant. Like, you wanted her fired. Like, let's be for real. But anyway, so that pretty much was that with that scene. Then we go on over to Cynthia. She's meeting with her date or whatever that a mutual friend has set up between these two, and their chickens and other types of animals outside or whatever. And he's putting the blindfold on her, and he done set up a surprise photo shoot for her or whatever because he's a photographer. And I'm just like, are you trying to finesse Cynthia out some pictures for your catalog or whatever? Like, that's how I kind of felt like a little bit. But his name is Evan. And Cynthia had said something in the confessional about how he reminds her of Norbert. But she was like, but Norbert was swag though. I was like, I could kind of see that. I could see that. But anyways, I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, so he takes her into another room where he got, rose petals and all this other stuff, candles set up, and they have food there. She explains how, my friend kind of lied. Our friend kind of lied and said you was like 31 or 32 or whatever, and come to find out he's really 29 or whatever. And she just kind of wishes that he was older, and she's like, pretty much we can be friends but nothing else, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I understand that, but I mean, Cynthia, he could just be a little boy toy for you, you know what I mean? Like, you just got this divorce and everything. Like, you don't really need to be in nothing serious right now, but whatever. So moving on, we have Sheree. She's going to see her life coach, Jack Daniels, and I'm not talking about the liquor, although that does sound pretty good right about now. Pretty much the same stuff she was talking about on the reunion last season, how she kind of buried her issues with Bob, with the physical and emotional and mental abuse. And she kind of wants to be able to talk about the situation without getting emotional. And she still hasn't talked to the kids about it, and because she doesn't want, she's ashamed or whatever, kind of. And she doesn't want the kids to look at their dad differently, in which I understand that, and Jack tells her pretty much, I want you to rehearse this conversation. Like, he wants her to rehearse this conversation before she talks to the kids about it, so she could feel comfortable with doing it. Then we head on over to Cynthia and Kenya. They're walking through the park or whatever with Kenya's 2 dogs. And, she's pretty much talking about her husband and how they met and blase. And, how she worked on herself before, they actually started dating one another. They started off as friends. And, Cynthia saying how Kenya, out the whole clique, out their whole crew, had the most problems, with, like, men and people doubting her about her dating the man. And then when she don't have a man, she incapable of getting the man, and all that stuff or whatever. So Cynthia's asking, she's asking Kenya, how's her husband dealing with, the media and everything. And, because that's not something that he's used to. And Kenya says, yeah, it is something that he's not used to. And he just kind of doesn't understand it or whatever. And now, she has to be his protector and everything. This episode was kind of boring, y'all. that out there. But anyway, so then we get Candy and Shamia. They're at the store, this African store. Have a lot of African pieces in there or whatever. Shamia is getting ready for her wedding. Pretty much is going to be in Africa, in Kenya, Africa, as a matter of fact. And Sheree shows up. Sheree unfortunately won't be at the wedding, but she will be at the bridal shower. Shamia tells them that she thinks that Portia is not going to come because she's saying it's too expensive and how the first class plane tickets are $10,000. I said, say what now? 10,000. But it's like, I know Portia got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure she could kind of spare $10,000. She ain't got no kids. She ain't got no husband. It's just her. You know what I mean? And then this is your best friend on top of that. Like, I'm telling you, like, if my best friend was getting married or whatever, I would sacrifice to, whatever I had to do to be there for him. You know what I'm saying? My best friend is a guy, so. But, anyway, so, and I know he would do the same vice versa. But anyway, so, Candy is saying, well, shit, I got my shit on motherfucking discount. I got mine for $5,000. And, she was like, so why Portia can't go? You know what I mean? And Shamia, she's just kind of at a point where she would rather Portia just say, I don't fuck with you instead of, making all these excuses. And I do agree with her. Like, Portia, it just... the way you just acting or whatever, it do seem like you don't fuck with Shamia at this point. And if that's the case, you just say that. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because y'all were friends way before this show. Y'all were friends since y'all was kids. You know what I'm saying? And all this, shit from the show, then, kind of fuck shit up between y'all. But anyway, so, then we get Kenya again. She's at her house and everything. She talks about how, she is kind of sad that her and her husband aren't like actually living together. But, because he has businesses in New York, she has businesses in Atlanta. So, it is what it is until they figure it out. So her good Judy Brandon FaceTimes her or whatever, and she's venting to him about the blogs or whatever, and he pretty much tells her, fuck them or whatever, fuck what they talking about, like, you happy, that's all that matters. So she has to go because one of the producers comes in to talk to her, and she's saying, I guess, how her and her husband was supposed to go to church the next day or something like that, and how he's letting the blogs fuck with him, and how exes of his is sending him stuff about her from 25 years ago. Like, why does that matter now? And he fought everybody, including his mama, for her, and she's crying about how she don't want to get a divorce and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, this shit is exhausting. Like, all honesty, because I don't really care. Like, I know that sounds kind of mean, but I just, like... dude knew what he kind of signed up for when he got with Kenya. So, it's just like, I understand this is something you're not used to or whatever, but you gonna have to kind of adjust, my brother, if you want to, be married to her and everything. And she's in the pier already talking about some, I don't want to get a divorce and all this other stuff. Well, if you are already thinking like that, maybe y'all need to get an annulment. I'm just saying, she shouldn't even be, that shouldn't even be in her mind at this point. Like, y'all just got married. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But, oh, boy, I cannot. So then we get Candy. She is talking to Todd about whatever she's talking to him about. Sheree comes to her house because she wants Candy to kind of help her how to figure out how to, talk to the kids about Bob or whatever. And Sheree also invited 3 of her other friends to come to Candy's house as well to, figure out this whole scenario and everything. And I guess they couldn't do it at her house because the kids were there or whatever. Okay, but I'm a little suspicious because I'm like, is the house finished? Can you film in there at this point? You know what I'm saying? Or is there still some restrictions? But I did see her on Wendy Williams the other day where she said that the basement part was finally finished or whatever, from last season and everything. But I mean, I guess. But so anyways, her three friends, they come and they talking about some, yes, we the bone carrier gang. And I'm just like, oh Lord, please, we don't need any more bone carriers. Okay, Sheree is enough. So Candy, she takes on the role of being Sheree, and the other three friends take on the role of being, Sheree's kids. So, they go through the scenario and everything, and I thought Candy did a good job, doing the role playing, and her friends did as well. So then, Candy tells Sheree, okay, you try. So, Sheree, she does it and everything, and her friends are asking her, how do you feel about, how you feel now? And she's like, she feels kind of drained, but they tell her, you know what, you did a good job or whatever. And I thought, like I said, I thought Candy and the friends, they did a good job as far as like what type of questions the kids might ask or whatever as they have this conversation. So, I thought this was, a good thing. So then we have Cynthia. Her and Noelle are chatting it up or whatever. Noelle, 17 years old now. She done already graduated from high school. She has a boyfriend who just so happens to live in Charlotte, where Peter stays, so Peter could keep an eye out on her. So Cynthia going to ask, did Peter ask about me or whatever? And Noelle's like, no. And I'm just like, Cynthia. Now, I ain't been trying to say too much, but this is kind of like, why do you keep on asking about that man? You divorced him. It wasn't the other way around. You divorced him. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, y'all still friends, whatever, this, that, and the third, but just, you ain't got to be asking about the man all the time. But anyway, so Noelle says she honestly likes Charlotte better than Atlanta, and not because of her boyfriend. She says that if her boyfriend wasn't there, she would still like it better because nobody really recognizes her there and everything. So Cynthia starts to tell her about the guy that she went on the date with and everything. But she's like, he's too young or whatever. He's only 29. And Noelle is like, oh no, like it would be more appropriate for me to date him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Like I said, Cynthia is not with, dating him and everything. And, Noelle, she heads to her car to, make her way on to Charlotte. And, Cynthia's like, can I get a hug or whatever? And Noelle just kind of laughs as she's in the car. I'm like, dang, Noelle, you could have gave your mama a hug. The person that gave you life. But I really like Noelle and Cynthia's relationship. I really do. So then we're at Shamia's bridal shower. Everybody has on like their Sunday best, the nice big, church hats and stuff like that. And Sheree and Candy, they're already there. Portia and Lauren, they show up, but as they're showing up, they were in the car or whatever. And Lauren notices that Portia had on her wedding ring, and I'm like, she still got that shit? Like, either I would have gave it back or I would have pawned it. I mean, one or the other, you know what I'm saying? But why do you still have it? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, so like I said, they show up or whatever. Candy, she gets up and walks away. She like, yeah, let me not make the same mistake again and accidentally hug this bitch or whatever. So she gets up and walks away. And Portia is like, she honestly don't want shit to be awkward between her and Candy or whatever. And Sheree is asking her, well, are you going to the wedding? And Portia is like, no, because I can't do coach or whatever because it's not good for my condition, and Sheree is like, what condition is that? I couldn't quite catch what Portia had said the condition was, but y'all know it's the situation with where she done passed out a few times and we done heard about it in the blogs or whatever. So Sheree not buying it and neither am I. You know what I'm saying? She's like, this is your best fucking friend who's getting married. Like, are you kidding me right now? So, Shamia shows up or whatever, and they start playing the games and everything, and you know, then they sit down and eat, and Shamia says that she was shocked that Portia had showed up to cause I guess her husband is African or something. They probably said it last season, I just don't remember. So they kind of had some type of ceremony already or whatever, but she says, here in the United States, the tradition is, to sign them papers and take it to the courthouse. That's what makes it official. You know what I'm saying? So Portia was shocked that she had showed up to that, and I guess that was like an African theme that they had going on or whatever. And Portia was like, well, why were you shocked and everything? And Shamia was like, I mean, let's be for real, I haven't seen you in a long time. Shamia brings up, you know, Portia not coming to Africa or whatever, and Portia, she feels some type of way because she's bringing it up in front of like Candy and stuff like that, and people that don't really care for her too much. And Portia is telling her, I physically can't do coach or whatever, and Shamia's, I'm trying to understand what's the condition or whatever. And Portia is like, well, I sent you the thing or whatever, and Shamia was like, well, I didn't read it because I was mad. And I'm like, well, damn, Shamia, that was kind of, not nice, as Portia said. That was kind of, you could have, read it and tried to understand. Although I still feel like Portia full of shit and everything, but hey. So Carmen, Carmen, Candy's best friend, she was there as well, during the conversation, and she's shading the fuck out of Portia, and Candy just cracking up, laughing, and shading her too. And Carmen was like, this child got a doctor excuse for everything now. And Carmen, she's like, she's not, she can't get on the plane because she's not used to her legs being down for so long. She's only used to them being up. I said, now, y'all know y'all ain't right. Y'all is not right for that shit. But anyway, so, Lauren, she's trying to find the middle ground between them two or whatever. Portia, you could tell she's just kind of over it. Everybody leaves and everything. 10 minutes later, Portia and Shamia start arguing outside. And, they're both sitting in Portia's car or whatever. And Portia don't like the fact that Shamia brought it up in front of everybody. Now, this particular situation, I can understand Portia being kind of upset that Shamia kind of brought the fact that she wasn't, coming in front of everybody like that, even though everybody kind of already knew anyway. But still, I did kind of feel like, Shamia should have kind of expressed that to her in private and everything. But, Portia is saying, am I not showing you how good of a friend that I am? I've been here for you, this, that, and the third. Shamia's like, I mean, you haven't been a good friend lately. You know what I'm saying? You put in Phaedra before me and all this other mess with Phaedra or whatever. And, Shamia is telling her, you have to understand where I'm coming from, Portia. And, Portia's like, well, you know what? I'm not trying to understand anymore this, that, and the third. And, because I've apologized, this, that, and the third. And it's like, I mean, Portia, come on now. All that fuck shit you and Phaedra. You and Phaedra pulled off last season, and Shamia was a part of that. Like, you thinking that, oh, you doing this and you doing that for her, means something. Like, no, you have to continue to show Shamia that she could kind of trust you and that you really have her back or whatever, for y'all to kind of get back to common ground like how y'all once were at one point in time. You feel what I'm saying? But Portia seemed kind of selfish a little bit, don't she? That was the episode, y'all. This shit was boring. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this shit was boring. We at 19 minutes now. This shit was boring, y'all. Real Housewives of Atlanta gonna have to do something better to like keep everybody's attention, because I'll see y'all in the next video, y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.